you shared a little bit about your parents there in that answer. Who were your parents and overall, what were they like? How do you most remember them?
My dad's name was Roger Kay, and his little name, McKay, stood for Cleese, which is I never heard anybody else with that name. And my mom was Mildred Christine, and she was a twin. Her twin was Milton, or Pete. Everybody knew him as Pete. He was the whistling mailman. And so they were very loving, had rules, restrict, but that's just the way it was.
And what do you remember, or what is your philosophy about falling in love, or what lessons have you learned from love?
Well, one of them I would say is that um, make sure, you know, that, it's just not attraction. Love is entirely different. And there's so many more things required of love than attraction. And it's hard, especially when you're young, it's hard to tell the difference between those. And, but when you really do find that person or feel that love, um, my recommendation would be to tell the person that you love them and tell them often.
Reasonable. What are you most proud of in your family life?
The thing, and I've always said this, anybody that's ever asked, is the thing I'm most proud of is that I have three grown kids. They're all gainfully employed. They're all good kids. They have all graduated from universities, and they have a great family. And we're close, and they're loving. And so my kids are absolutely my proudest achievement.
Do you have any hobbies or passions that brought you joy that you enjoyed doing in your off time?
Uh, well, besides working with my dog and hunting, um, passions are I when I was on city council, um, through Cary was the impetus to start the Taylor Regional Park. It, and so to say that I helped develop a park for the city that will go on ad infinitum and bring in a good thousand visitors a year, I'm very proud of that. That's probably
Jen,
first or second accomplishment that I would hang my hat on as far as being on my 9 years on city council. So that was very important.
So now we're going to talk a bit about some of your reflections and messages for the future. First of all, what would you say is the recipe for a good life?
We've already kind of touched on the one or two, but I jotted some things down like I think are important. Um, Trust in the Lord always. Say I love you but often and mean it when you say it. Learn to say I'm sorry or I made a mistake. And what do you want?
Would you say that's what you would want to be remembered for, and what you're most proud of is just loving your family really well?
Yeah, that I always loved and cared for them. Yeah, I've been disowned. I love all my kids and grandkids unconditionally and equally. Then I just hope they all remember that and you know try to do a good job. But